How you doing so far?
I'm great. I'm really good. How's everybody here? Good?
We're good.
Nice. Happy to be back at X Fest.
So, I have something for you. Okay.
Okay.
This was going to be a little weird, but okay.
I like weird. That's okay.
So, we did a panel a couple months ago in Orlando, and it was with Cigarette Smoking Man. He was on the
Yes.
panel as well. And you had mentioned that somebody named their hamster after you.
Yes.
They named their hamster Reyes, right?
Yes.
And then I had asked the Cigarette Smoking Man if someone ever named a hamster after him. I present to you the Cigarette Smoking Hamster.
Oh my goodness.
This is my gift to you.
Oh.
So now Cigarette Smoking Hamster has his own. I know, like I said, it's really weird,
That is a unique gift that I will surely never forget.
yeah, it's something I've been thinking about. Anyway, so there's that. Anyway, thank you.
I appreciate it. It's very cute.
Yeah, I've been staring at it all weekend. I'm like, she's gonna think I'm insane, but there it is. Yep, there's the Cigarette
I'll
Smoking
think
Hamster.
about it and remember the time that I had to put a cigarette in Bill's, remember the hole in his throat or whatever? It was one of the strangest, inappropriate, kinky, weird things I've ever had to do on a show.
Wow. Okay, so out of curiosity, was it difficult to join the cast and then play a main character joining in later in one of the seasons?
Yes, it was, especially because, you know, for 7 seasons prior, it had this massive fan base, and Jillian and David had established their rapport and everything, and so yes, it was John Doggett had already arrived, and I came in as well, and so he kind of, how do I say it? He made it a little bit easier for me to jump in. But it was only difficult because it was a new family, and I feel like a lot of people were suspicious or skeptical of whether or not Reyes and Doggett could sustain it, which we didn't. But it was 2 great years of just incredible, like truly one of the best professional experiences of my life. It became a family. I know Frank is in the audience, and I owe a lot to him because he cast me as Monica, and really crafted this character who is iconic for me, and who people name their hamsters after.
See, it comes full circle.
It does.
What was the audition process like?
Well, every time I go by Fox, I remember, I definitely went in and read for Chris and Frank, and then it's this kind of horrible system in LA and Hollywood where you have to then test for the network. And there are other actresses who are also testing, and you have to sign a contract, and you're all just wondering if you're going to get the job. And very nerve-wracking because it's a bunch of executives, not necessarily creatives. I mean, Chris and Frank were in the room, but do you remember that? Like, it was like, it's kind of in a weird amphitheater, and it's very antithetical to what we actually do when we work. It's not even like doing a play. It's just you're literally standing and auditioning and hoping that you deliver your A game, you know? And luckily for me in this case, I got the job. Awesome. And I was thrilled and honored.
What would you say would be the main similarities and the main differences between you and Mulder?
Well, we're both believers, right? I think Monica was given her background and her studies, her religious studies, I think she was always that optimist and very much like Mulder.
And okay, so you mentioned being a believer. So out of curiosity, are you a believer?
Oh, totally. Anyone who knows me, knows that I definitely, in fact, we were having some sort of a spiritual conversation over at my table. I definitely am a believer in spirit and in other dimensions, and I don't know if there is actual, alien life, but probably. I'd like to think so.
What was it like coming back for the end of the 10th and the entirety of the 11th season?
It was wonderful to see everyone and reunite, and But it was, you know, I mean, as we all know, 10 and 11, I didn't really have much to do. I was happy to be invited back to, really for sentimental reasons. I didn't really have much of an input into what my character did. And some of the things she did, I don't think she would have actually done. But again, you know, and we've spoken of this before with respect to the creators, and you know, Chris had his vision, and I was happy to even just be involved and back with the gang.
So before we open this up to questions from the audience, out of curiosity, did you ever keep anything from the set?
I did, yes. In fact, I still, when we built, I think it was season 9, they built Monica's apartment. And so I don't think I stole anything, but I definitely took some of her trinkets. There's a chime that I still have on my door that was from Monica's apartment. And what else? And I kept a box of Morley cigarettes that I have for safekeeping. Yeah.
Okay, so we do have a microphone that's located right up front. So whatever questions you have for Annabeth, now is your opportunity to ask them. All right, we have someone making their way up to the microphone. First willing victim, come on down.
You can ask anything except for me to sing a whale in whale song. I'm not doing that. No hell, no way.
I was gonna say, is that the most common question you get?
No, but it's out there, and I'm never gonna do it.
Well, that was my question, so thank you so much.
Okay, sorry.
No, I'm kidding. I loved seeing you recently on Haunting of Hill House. And,
thank you. In the night, in the dark.
In the dark. Wondering if it's sort of like an anthology series where you might be invited back for a future season, or...
I would love to be invited back. I don't know what Mike Flanagan is going to do. I know that they've switched. You know, the first one was based on the Shirley Jackson novel. The second one is now, I think, The Turn of the Screw. Yep. So it will be a new home. I don't know if Mrs. Dudley goes to different homes, but I would be so thrilled to work. I think he is a master of horror, and I just loved working with him. That was the second thing I've done with him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Was it as scary to film as it was to watch in the end?
It was, you know, I mean, with X-Files too, when you peek behind the curtain, it's not, you know you're play acting, but there is, I think, you know, especially with Haunting of Hill House, how they hid the ghosts. And so sometimes you'd be in a scene and then you'd just see some specter kind of looming that you're not supposed to react to. And so that was always a little, and the house that they built was very creepy. They built on a soundstage this 2-story mansion, and with all sorts of creatures and sculptures, and it was, I just got chills. It was very, very creepy.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, thank you. Hi, girl.
Hello. Hey, I have a very random, silly questions for you.
Okay.
If you were a contestant in any of these TV shows, Survivor, Masterchef, Dancing with the Star, or American Idol, which one do you think you will win, and why will you win that?
That is a brilliant question. I'll tell you what I wouldn't. Masterchef, I would lose because I can't cook. I'm horrible. Dancing with the Stars. And I mean, there's a secret, like, I love ballroom dancing. I've danced in several movies, too. And I even take ballroom dancing. But I don't think I'm, you know. But I would, maybe I'd win.
So now you should audition for Dancing with the Star, right?
Really?
We're gonna tweet about it.
Is that career suicide? I don't know. I don't really see any of the great theatrical beauties on Dancing with the Stars, but...
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, I love it.
What's your favorite style of ballroom?
Well, I mean, I do it all. I really do. The waltz is my favorite because it reminds me of my grandmother. She competed in ballroom as well, and so I always just feel it's so classic and elegant, and I love partner dancing. It's very romantic. My sons, I can't get my sons to do it. I'm hoping I'll try to. Or my husband, he doesn't do it either. He's 2 left feet.
What's your name?
Andrea. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. What are the things that draw you to a role, and has that changed the more experience do you have, or is it particular? Is it because you want to work with certain people? What drives that for you?
That's a good question. Yes, it's changed as I've gotten older. I think experience and time and, it's one of those things that I think as an artist, if you're lucky, most of us do get better as we practice and fuller. So for me, I feel like my work best yet is yet to come. I still feel like I'm really digging in and have more to do and more to play with. For me, roles that I'm very interested in playing flawed characters because I think we all are obviously flawed and imperfect. So for me, to have that real spectrum is what interests me the most. And yes, I mean, if it's, I just did a project with Lawrence Fishburne, and I jumped at the chance to work with him because he is a master himself as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, my name's Rachel. I was at the very first X Fest that you were at, and based off of what you were saying when we had asked, are we going to like the series finale or are we not? I'm going to tell you this now. I was devastated. But my question is based off of the X-Files motto, no one truly ever dies. Does Agent Reyes die, or is she one of the legends that sticks around?
Well, Chris even addressed this, I think, after the finale aired, that somehow the bullet wound that entered my brain was 3 centimeters to the left, and so therefore I might not have died. But I've also said this, we don't have to be politic about it, really, because I don't think that it will come back. But I do think there was a missed opportunity. I really think there could have been so much between Scully and Reyes, too, In my mind, I feel like Reyes was always protecting William, and even playing with Cigarette Smoking Man in defense of Scully. And I just feel like in an alternate, especially with this day and age and the culture that we're living in, there could have been a really great opportunity for some women power, right?
Well, thank you for attending. It's an honor to see you again.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hi.
Hi.
So last year I got to ask you what your knee-jerk reaction was to seeing Reyes turning to the dark side. And this year I was...
Remember, it was this. What? What? Chris, what?
Yeah. And whenever I asked why, you said that it was to protect Scully. It had to be for that. And I always loved that that friendship, like how you were just saying. So I was going to ask, what was your reaction to the justice we got for Reyes, which wasn't much.
We didn't get any, did we?
No. But no, like we got a little, but you kind of answered there, but I just wanted to ask you about that.
Well, it's again, part of being an actress is, you basically have to do what you're, written, what is written for you. And Chris was really elegant in the way he handled it personally with me. He sent me the script, and before he sent me the script, he said, hey, just heads up, it's curtains for Reyes. And it was emotional to me, just because when you spend, and I didn't do this for 9 years, right? Remember, I just did it for the last 2, 8 and 9, and then, and I had so much invested from a heart space. You really get connected to the character, you get connected to the actors, you get connected as a family. It was a machine, a good machine. And so it was sentimental to have it end, but I was still happy to be a part of it.
Thank you so
Very
much.
complicated.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
This is random. I was just wondering what your favorite book is.
Oh my gosh, my favorite book. I'm the worst with favorite questions because I can't decide. I'm always, it's like yellow today and purple tomorrow. But certainly books that changed me. Middlemarch by George Eliot is one of my favorites. Anything by, there's a book called Crossing to Safety by Wallace, no, it's not, is it Wallace Stegner? Yes. And gosh, I mean, I'm a voracious reader. It's the thing that I do think is sort of the antidote to self-involvement. You know, I think we need to read. And what else? I mean, I love books.
Same.
What's your favorite book?
I'm reading House of Mirth right now.
Oh, that's
and
great.
That's really, really good.
Yes.
So I'm
Yeah.
enjoying that.
Good.
But, thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, so we're not talking about the whale songs, but okay, what would you say is the question that you do get asked the most?
Well, it's either something about, you know, did Doggett and Reyes live a happy life together, which I like. I mean, usually it could be that Doggett and Reyes got together or Scully and Reyes got together, right? There are camps and campaigns for both.
We stand. All right, what's your name?
My name is Dominique from Maryland. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So my question was, how was it filming the episode when Scully gave birth to William? And was it really a real baby?
It was not a real baby.
Okay.
No. It did involve strawberry jelly and cottage cheese. That was what the special effects department used for the afterbirth, which I'll never forget.
Wow.
And we filmed it. I don't remember. It was at Warner Ranch or something, wasn't it? Kind of a, you know, dusty, dark place. But it was great. I'd never seen, you know, I hadn't. It was before I'd had children, so it was all very new to me.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully they didn't have, cottage cheese for craft services that day. That would have probably been...
No, I don't think I've eaten cottage cheese since.
Are there any moments that maybe stand out to you above the rest, like a favorite maybe day of filming or a favorite episode?
Yes, my two favorite episodes were 4D and Audrey Polly. I did feel while we were filming both of those episodes sort of a strange, mystical, it was just, they were such beautiful stories that really resonated with me. So, and I know Kim Manners directed Audrey Polly, I think. I'm always bad with my trivia. I would not win that trivia game. Yeah, but just the alternate realities of both were really intriguing to me, and I kind of always go back to those scenes with Robert because they were really intimate and warm and sweet, and it was fun to play. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Kathy. I really loved Improbable. Did you have trouble remembering all the numbers and how to figure out
Yes.
who? Okay.
Yes. I think my husband still has PTSD from having to learn lines with me on the Sunday night before I'd have to, because it was so intricate, and I'm not particularly a mathematical, numerical person. But it is amazing how you can learn stuff like that and then have to just spit it out.
Yeah. Well, I loved it. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hi. You just mentioned Kim Manners, and I was wondering if you could comment on your experience working with him, because I've been a fan of his since a show he did in the 80s, and of course the X-Files. And so.
I can see you're emotional, yes. I think everybody gets emotional when they talk about Kim. He was a huge advocate for me on especially my first days on the show. He just was a force of life like no other. You know, he'd sort of wear his Merrill slip-on shoes, and kind of he would have this not a waddle, but his, you know, he would walk with his legs out, and yet, you know, kick it in the ass. You know, it just something just so powerful about his presence, and it was a real tragedy when he passed away. And his funeral was a very special experience, very, and And it speaks to him because I remember Johnny Depp was there and that he had worked with him on Jump Street, you know, and that's a testament to that kind of legacy when he really made a difference in people's lives. Yeah.
So we have about 10 minutes left, so there is time for more questions. While we're waiting for more questions, from what I've heard about all the actors from the X-Files is it was incredibly professional on set. But out of curiosity, was there any like pranksters? Did anyone pull any pranks on anybody?
I think Jillian and David had a bunch of pranks. For me, I just remember being sometimes so tired and we would just laugh our faces off, you know, and we would just burst out. And when one person went up and started laughing, it was screwed. I mean, we wouldn't be able to stop, you know? There was a lot of laughter, a lot of pratfalls, because Jillian seemed to be kind of a klutz and would always, she would either be a klutz or she'd do these amazing things in high heels. And it was always, how are you running that fast in those shoes? But yeah, really, just really great memories, good times, lots of laughter.
I was wondering if there's any specific role that would be a dream role for you, or any genre that you've not gotten to explore yet that you'd really enjoy doing?
Well, gosh. I seem to have recently found some strange niche in horror, which I guess I'm good at being scared or getting scared or scaring people. But I really would like to do something a little bit more classical, and I'm trying to do some theater in New York, and I'm also, Frank, you don't know this, but I wrote a screenplay. I adapted a novel and hope to direct it. So that's another role I would like to step into.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the name of this screenplay, or can you tell us?
Sure. It's called Wolf Hollow. It's a YA novel that was it won the Caldecott 2 years ago. And yeah, I'm scared, but ready to diversify. Awesome. Yeah.
Well, nobody else asking questions, so I'm just going to ask you silly questions again.
Okay, good.
So Aladdin just came out in the theater. If you had a magic lamp, what would your 3 wishes be?
Oh, where do you come up with these? Do you like...
I told you, random and silly questions, my specialties.
3 wishes. I mean... A question like that, you should be profound, right? World peace.
You could wish for a lot of money, and I don't care.
Well, no, because you know what? Money, you can't take it with you. It's not about money to me. I think, you know, certainly happiness and health for my children, and laughter. I think we need a lot of laughter and kindness.
All right. What's your other one?
Well,
there were 2, right?
Let's see. World peace,
oh,
yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
I kind of want a new car. But not fancy. I need I'm a chauffeur to my kids, so I need a bigger car.
Thank you.
See, I like the weird and silly questions, but the weirdest and silliest one I ever heard, I think so far, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh,
like,
yes.
is that? What?
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I'm with you,
right?
Annabeth. All right. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Maya.
Hi.
Annabeth.
Hi.
Hey. I was just wondering, you spoke earlier of how there's 2 different camps for Reyes and Scully, or Reyes and Doggett.
Where is this going to go?
I'm down for either.
Okay. Okay.
But like, if it was up to you, which way would you be?
I'm blushing. I'm down for either.
Nice.
Both?
Ditto.
Theoretically.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
How about you? Did you give an answer? You said both, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your name?
Karen. I'm wondering. Reyes had a lot of spirituality and alternative points of view. How did you go about getting into the character of that?
Does it seem like it's a stretch? You know, I don't know. That would be a question too for Frank. You know, I don't know. At some point, you know, they create a character and then they cast the character. And then, again, with a television series where you're doing 22 episodes, at some point I would imagine you begin to write. It's a collaborative thing. I would think that sometimes they would maybe write for me, or I don't know. Is that true? Yeah. So it wasn't, sometimes I know there was an episode I had to speak Spanish, and I remember like studying cocaína, and like I had to say all of crazy things, and I'm not bilingual. But don't tell my kids that. But there were things that I would then, sometimes I would do some research on some of the, terms that she would use, and it was obviously a very detailed, in-depth, complicated, every episode had something that taught me something that I would learn, which I was grateful for.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so we would have time for one more final question from the audience, or two, if you guys have any more questions. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, Cortland.
Hi. Okay, so since you've been writing, if you were going to write an X-File, what would your case be?
Oh, goodness.
I'm gonna sit down while you think.
You guys are like stumping me today. These are deep, probing questions. What?
Pick a fun one.
I don't know. Now I sound really stupid. I don't know. No.
Do you have any suggestions? Maybe like a suggestion, and then.
Okay, so I love Improbable. That's
Yes.
my favorite.
Okay.
I like the kind of funky, unknown. Like I'm a fan of that kind of X-File. But
Yeah.
I don't know, like a ghost or like a creature.
I'm not down with the creature stuff.
Okay.
No. I like the ghost, the alternative, other realms of spirit and essence.
I was going to say that fits your brand. So something
Yes.
ghost.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Ghost-like.
Did anyone have a final question? I wasn't. We're good? One more? All right. Okay.
I
Two
know
more.
there's silly ones. So superheroes are on the rise these days. If you were a superhero, what would your superhero name be, and what would your superpower be?
Oh, well, it would definitely be like flight, so I could not be in LA traffic and get places faster and carry people with me.
What would you call yourself?
Jesus.
Jesus is taken, so.
I would call myself the goddess of speed.
Thank you.
All right, the final question. Here we go. What's your name?
Mandy. So to kind of follow up on what you said earlier about how you always learn new things while you were playing the role, what do you think is the most interesting thing that you learned?
The most interesting thing that you learned?
From playing Monica Reyes? I mean, there's such a compendium of knowledge from Monica Reyes. I mean, I don't know. That the truth is out there. And you have to believe. See, these are like, now it's time to end this question. This I'm tanking now.
I don't know. I think this is going great.
My
I'm
charm
having
has
a blast.
failed.
So, on that note, any final thoughts you want to leave us with?
Just thank you so much, and I'm so honored by Cortland did these Gishy T-shirts today, and it moved me very much. It's been a very emotional, positive experience so far.
Well, thank you so much for coming back.
Thank
and
you.
hopefully we'll see you soon.
Okay, good.
One more time for Annabeth Gish, everybody.